Aaron Kaufman just revealed the shocking truth about who he couldn't stand working with at Gas Monkey Garage. And it's not who you think. After years of silence, the bearded legend is finally spilling the tea on the toxic relationships that destroyed one of TV's biggest car shows. What he's about to tell you will completely change how you see Fast and Loud forever. I'm talking about backstabbing, ego clashes, and the real reason why Aaron walked away from millions of dollars.
To quote Stevie Nicks, I think I have to go my own way.
Stick around because the bombshells he drops later in this video will blow your mind. If you've ever wondered what really went down behind the cameras at Gas Monkey Garage, you're about to get the inside scoop that Discovery Channel never wanted you to hear. For 14 years, Aaron Kaufman was the heart and soul of Fast and Loud, building some of the most incredible custom cars ever seen on television. But beneath all that chrome and horsepower was a workplace drama so intense it would make reality TV producers jealous. In this video, we're diving deep into Aaron's explosive revelations about the cast members who made his life hell, the toxic environment that nearly broke him, and the shocking moment he realized he had to escape Gas Monkey Garage before it destroyed his passion for cars forever. From heated arguments that never made it to air to professional betrayals that cut deep, Aaron's finally ready to name names and expose the truth about what Fast and Loud was really like when the cameras stopped rolling. Here's where things get really interesting, and this might surprise you. While everyone expected Aaron to trash Richard Rawlings, the truth is far more complex and revealing about the toxic dynamics that plagued Gas Monkey Garage. Aaron recently opened up about his relationship with Richard, and what he revealed will shock longtime fans of the show. Everyone thought we were really close friends, Aaron explained in a candid interview, but actually I was just his employee from when I was 20. This statement alone reveals the fundamental problem that poisoned their working relationship for over a decade. The tension wasn't just about creative differences, it was about respect, recognition, and the crushing weight of being treated like a replaceable cog in Richard's money-making machine. While Richard positioned himself as the face and brains of Gas Monkey Garage, Aaron was doing the heavy lifting, creating the masterpieces that made the show famous. Yet he was constantly reminded of his place in the hierarchy. There was a lot of pressure because I wanted to pursue my own projects, but Discovery wouldn't allow it. Aaron revealed, this wasn't just about building cars, it was about artistic freedom and professional growth being systematically crushed by corporate interests and Richard's need to maintain control. The breaking point came when Aaron realized he was being held back from creating the complex, innovative builds he dreamed of. The complexity of the car exceeds what can be accomplished on TV within the time and budget, he explained. While Richard was focused on quick turnarounds and maximum profit, Aaron was an artist being forced to paint by numbers. But here's the kicker that really exposes the toxic dynamic: Richard's reaction to Aaron's unhappiness. Instead of addressing the underlying issues or finding ways to support his lead mechanic's growth, Richard became resentful. He was unhappy, and I was unhappy because he was unhappy, which made everything else pretty miserable, Richard admitted. This reveals a leader who was more concerned with his own comfort than his team's professional development. Rather than seeing Aaron's ambitions as an opportunity to elevate Gas Monkey Garage, Richard saw them as a threat to his control. The most telling moment came after Aaron left, when Richard claimed the shop was the most calm, amazing place he had ever seen, and that life was a million times better. This wasn't the response of someone who valued a long-time collaborator. It was the reaction of someone who was relieved to eliminate a challenge to his authority. What makes this even more tragic is that Aaron had been instrumental in building Gas Monkey Garage from the ground up. He wasn't just an employee, he was a co-creator of the empire that made Richard millions. Yet he was never treated as an equal partner, always reminded that he was just the help. This power struggle ultimately cost both men dearly, destroying what could have been an unstoppable partnership, and leaving fans wondering what incredible builds we'll never see because of ego and control issues. Now here's where the story takes a dark turn that exposes the true character of some Gas Monkey Garage cast members. The incident involving Tom Smith and Jordan Butler reveals a level of callousness that shocked even longtime fans of the show. Picture this scene. A young fan with cystic fibrosis visits Gas Monkey Garage, probably the highlight of his life, excited to meet his heroes and take pictures with the incredible cars he'd watched being built on television. This should have been a heartwarming moment, the kind of interaction that reminds everyone why they got into the car business in the first place. Instead, it became a nightmare that exposed the ugly side of reality TV fame. When this brave kid, fighting a life-threatening disease, approached one of Richard's prized vehicles for a photo, Richard's reaction was nothing short of heartless. According to Tom Smith's public account, Richard told the fan to move away from his car using harsh, inappropriate language that would make any decent person cringe. But here's where it gets even worse. And this is what Aaron Kaufman couldn't stand about the toxic culture at Gas Monkey Garage. While Tom Smith and Jordan Butler had the decency to be disgusted by this treatment of a sick child, other cast members just stood by and watched. The silence was deafening, and it spoke volumes about the kind of environment Richard had created. Tom Smith later revealed that this incident was the final straw for him and Butler. They couldn't continue working in a place where a child with a serious illness could be treated so poorly, especially when that treatment came from the boss everyone was supposed to respect and emulate. What makes this betrayal even more significant is what it reveals about the cast dynamics Aaron had to navigate daily. Here were two guys who had the courage to stand up for what was right, even when it meant sacrificing their careers on a hit TV show. Their departure sent a clear message about the moral compromises required to survive in Richard's world. Aaron has hinted that this incident was just the tip of the iceberg. The culture at Gas Monkey Garage had become so toxic that basic human decency was being sacrificed for the sake of maintaining Richard's ego and the show's drama quotient. Cast members were expected to prioritize Richard's mood and the production schedule over treating people with respect. The fact that Smith and Butler immediately found success with their own show, Misfit Garage, proves that talent and integrity don't need to be sacrificed for fame. They showed that you could build great cars and entertain audiences without compromising your values or treating fans like garbage. For Aaron, watching colleagues he respected get pushed out for doing the right thing must have been a wake-up call. It demonstrated that Gas Monkey Garage wasn't just creatively limiting, it was morally compromising. No amount of money or fame was worth being part of an organization that would treat a sick child poorly and punish those who objected. This betrayal of basic human decency became one of the many factors that convinced Aaron it was time to escape. Here's the part of Aaron's story that will break your heart and make you understand why he had to escape Gas Monkey Garage before it destroyed everything he loved about building cars. Aaron Kaufman isn't just a mechanic, he's an artist whose medium happens to be steel, chrome and horsepower. For years, fans watched him transform rust buckets into masterpieces. But what they didn't see was the crushing creative suffocation happening behind the scenes that was slowly killing his passion. "I wanted to build cars that were larger," Aaron revealed, "but TV needed cars that were much smaller. This wasn't just about size, it was about complexity, innovation, and the kind of groundbreaking builds that could push the entire custom car industry forward." Aaron had visions of creating automotive sculptures that would be remembered for decades, but he was being forced to churn out quick flips for television ratings. The time constraints were particularly brutal. While Aaron's mind was racing with possibilities for revolutionary builds that could take months or even years to perfect, he was being pressured to complete projects in weeks to meet filming schedules. Imagine being a master chef forced to only make fast food, or a classical composer told to only write jingles. That's what Aaron was experiencing every single day. But the creative suffocation went deeper than just project limitations. Aaron was developing innovative techniques and discovering new approaches to fabrication. But there was no room in the fast and loud format to explore these breakthroughs. The show's structure demanded predictable drama and quick resolutions, leaving no space for the kind of experimental work that drives real innovation. The tipping point was the lowest end of the type of cars I wanted to create, Aaron explained. This statement reveals the profound frustration of a craftsman who knew he was capable of so much more, but was being held back by commercial considerations that had nothing to do with building better cars. The psychological toll was devastating. Aaron had spent his entire career developing skills that were being underutilized, and creativity that was being systematically suppressed. Every day at Gas Monkey Garage became a reminder of the incredible builds he wasn't allowed to create, the innovations he couldn't explore, and the artistic vision he couldn't express. What makes this even more tragic is that Aaron's creative ambitions weren't just personal. They could have elevated the entire Gas Monkey Garage brand. Instead of supporting their most talented builders' growth, the organization chose to keep him in a box that served their immediate commercial interests, while stifling the very creativity that made the show successful. The breaking point came when Aaron realized he was losing his love for cars, the thing that had driven him since childhood, the passion passion that made him one of the most respected builders in the industry, was being slowly crushed by corporate demands and creative limitations. When someone as talented as Aaron Kaufman says the environment is killing their creativity, that's not just a professional complaint, it's a cry for help from an artist who's drowning in commercial compromise. The moment Aaron Kaufman walked away from Gas Monkey Garage wasn't just a career change, it was a prison break that saved his soul and revealed the true cost of toxic workplace culture in reality television. "I could see the fork in the road ahead of me," Aaron revealed, describing the moment he realized he had to choose between financial security and creative survival. This wasn't an impulsive decision, it was the culmination of years of mounting frustration, creative suffocation, and watching colleagues get pushed out for standing up for what was right. But here's what Aaron has never fully revealed until now. The decision to leave wasn't just about creative differences, it was about preserving his integrity in an environment that was systematically compromising everyone who worked there. There were some personal and professional differences of opinion, Aaron diplomatically explained, but reading between the lines reveals a much darker story. The personal toll was devastating. Aaron had invested 14 years of his life building Gas Monkey Garage into a global brand, only to realize he was being treated as a replaceable employee rather than the creative force that made the show possible. The professional differences weren't just about project scope, they were about fundamental values and how people should be treated. What Aaron discovered after leaving is perhaps the most revealing part of his story. Within months of launching ArcLight Fabrication, he was creating the complex, innovative builds he dreamed of for years. The 1963 Falcon he built for Pikes Peak, the intricate Ford F-Series restorations, the experimental projects that pushed boundaries, all of this became possible the moment he escaped the creative prison of reality television. "We're creating better cars than we ever had before," Richard claimed after Aaron left, but the evidence suggests otherwise. While Gas Monkey Garage continued producing content, they never again achieved the level of innovation and craftsmanship that Aaron brought to their builds. The difference was immediately apparent to anyone who understood custom car culture. Aaron's success with Shifting Gears and Aaron Needs a Job proved that talent doesn't need toxic management to thrive. His new shows, while shorter-lived, showcased the kind of authentic car culture content that Fast and Loud had moved away from in favor of manufactured drama. The most telling aspect of Aaron's post-Gas Monkey career is his obvious happiness and creative fulfillment. In interviews and social media posts, he radiates the passion for cars that seemed to be slowly dying during his final years at Gas Monkey Garage. He's building the cars he always wanted to build, working with people who share his values, and proving that success doesn't require compromising your integrity. Looking back, Aaron's escape from Gas Monkey Garage wasn't just about one man's career, it was a case study in how toxic workplace culture can destroy even the most successful partnerships. His story serves as a warning to other talented individuals trapped in similar situations. Sometimes the only way to save your passion is to walk away from the paycheck. So there you have it, the real story behind Aaron Kaufman's explosive exit from Gas Monkey Garage. This wasn't just about creative differences or tight deadlines. This was about a toxic workplace culture that crushed creativity, compromised values, and treated talented people as disposable assets. From Richard Rawlings' controlling management style to the heartless treatment of a sick child that drove Tom Smith and Jordan Butler away, Aaron witnessed a systematic breakdown of the values that should drive any successful team. The creative suffocation he experienced wasn't just limiting his potential, it was killing his passion for the craft he devoted his life to mastering. But here's the inspiring part of this story. Aaron's escape led to incredible success and creative fulfillment. ArcLight Fabrication, Shifting Gears, and his continued innovation in the custom car world prove that talent doesn't need toxic management to thrive. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from a bad situation, even when everyone else thinks you're crazy. Aaron Kaufman's story is a masterclass in choosing integrity over income, creativity over comfort, and personal values over professional convenience. He showed us that success means nothing if it comes at the cost of your soul. What do you think about Aaron's revelations? Have you ever been in a toxic workplace situation where you had to choose between money and your values? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and love hearing your stories. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the real story behind Fast and Loud, make sure you're subscribed because next week I'm revealing the shocking truth about what what really happened to Gas Monkey Garage after Aaron left. Trust me, you won't want to miss those bombshells. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss it, and I'll see you in the next video.